Angela, alongside her parents Jody and Jonathan, resided in a quaint village where each morning dew adorned the grass while the evening skies were adorned by stars and the glowing moon, casting gentle beams across the fields. At the age of 9, Angela boasted a fair complexion, light hair, and crystal-clear blue eyes. Her passions encompassed dancing and caring for the myriad cats and creatures that frequented the village, darting up porch steps in playful abandon. A well-behaved child, she often found solace in basking in sunlight or wandering through fields, capturing butterflies. Her footfalls intermingled with daisies and a spectrum of vibrant blooms, her gaze fixed upwards, her blonde locks swaying gracefully in her wake. It was a bright Sunday morning, the sun casting its golden rays through the windows. Around 9 o'clock, the entire family gathered in the kitchen for a leisurely breakfast. As they enjoyed their meal, the sunlight gently filled the room. Unexpectedly, Angela began to choke on her sausage. Her body convulsed. Her once beautiful mouth quivered, opening and closing desperately. Soon her entire body started to spasm, and she collapsed to the floor. Despite frantic efforts by her parents, even trying to reposition her, Angela continued to struggle for air. Unfortunately, the village doctor arrived 15 minutes later, only to express deep regret as Angela's breathing had ceased. An hour after reaching the hospital, she was declared deceased. The vibrant girl who once smiled at sunbeams and wandered through fields of flowers had vanished. It was an abrupt and tragic end. The burial day weighed heavily with sorrow. A requiem filled the air, mingling with soft tears and a chill in the wind. Angela lay in the coffin, serene in a white dress, her once bright blue eyes now closed. Her parents witnessed the solemn procession, the coffin's arrival, the earth being excavated, the descent into the grave, the covering of soil, and the planting of flowers at the headstone. A scene of profound sadness and tragedy unfolded. That night, Angela's mother, Jody, was plagued by a haunting dream. Her daughter appeared, clad in the burial attire, her voice strained, struggling to breathe, her body writhing, pallid and ghostly. Desperate pleas echoed from Angela's mouth, calling out, "Mommy, Mommy!" Abruptly, Jody jolted awake, drenched in a cold sweat, her body trembling from the harrowing vision. Sleep eluded her that night. An unsettling pulse resonated, accompanied by an oppressive darkness and an eerie silence enveloping the room. Jody sat in the empty bedroom contemplating her disquieting dream. The following morning, she confided everything to her husband, expressing the urgency of visiting their daughter's grave. The depth of pain and sorrow in the dream surpassed mere words. Her husband offered reassurance, attributing such distressing dreams to the natural course of grieving, where emotions of sorrow, anxiety, and loss intertwine. That very night, Jody was visited by another haunting dream. This time, her daughter appeared sobbing and flailing in a pitch-black abyss, uttering incomprehensible words and appearing to struggle for breath. Angela's cries and indistinct speech, accompanied by distressing images, persisted relentlessly until Jody awoke. Staring at the ceiling, she couldn't quell her agitation, tears streaming down her face as thoughts of Angela consumed her. Sleep eluded her for the remainder of the night. In the morning, she recounted the night's events to Jonathan, her distress palpable. Despite his efforts to console her, she remained adamant, insisting the dreams held genuine significance and demanded action. Later that afternoon, distant relatives reached out to counsel Jody over the phone, urging her to ease her mind and dismiss the nightmares as ordinary occurrences bound to fade with time. Yet, Jody clung to her conviction that these dreams harbored a deeper meaning, a belief rooted in a sense of psychic connection, where the strangeness and foreboding within the visions signaled an unfolding reality, demanding her attention. The reassurances from trusted individuals held little sway. She felt a profound sense of isolation, convinced they couldn't comprehend her emotions or the urgency she felt to uncover the truth. By the third night, Jody found herself unable to drift into slumber. Resting in the darkened room, her heart pounded persistently, her thoughts resolute and unsettled. The pulsating sensation seemed to seep into her awareness, pervading not only her consciousness, but also the room and the encompassing world. It intensified, gaining momentum as if echoing through everything, entirely enveloping her senses. Abruptly, she rose from the bed, moving noiselessly down the stairs, venturing into the basement to retrieve a shovel and a flashlight. Without a word, she departed the house, embarking on a solitary half-hour trek until she reached the cemetery. Throughout the night, she toiled tirelessly, her daughter's haunting visage vivid in her mind's eye, the echoes of stifled screams resonating within her chest. With adept hands, she maneuvered the shovel under the dim glow of the lantern. After endless digging, she finally unveiled the coffin's door, her hands trembling as she opened it. Angela lay within, adorned in white but in a shocking twist, face down instead of upward. Turning her daughter's body to face her, a horrifying reality emerged. Angela's once manicured nails were broken and bloody, her mouth encrusted with dried blood at the corners. The coffin's interior bore long, continuous scratches, emitting a noxious, oppressive air. Overwhelmed, Jody collapsed beside the grave, her anguished cries filling the air. "Angela, what has happened to you?" Her words, muffled by tears, reverberated as she sobbed uncontrollably. Then, an unexpected voice pierced the silence. "Mother, aren't you pleased? Look at me. I can breathe."